and they are in there collecting 700 boxes of ballots right now. We are obviously concerned about once the ballots leave here, what will happen to the ballots, and our lawyers are going to be working on that. They are working on that as we speak right now. Let me just speak to the larger issue about what this is really all about. This is a scare tactic. This is something that we have seen done before. This is to instill fear and chaos, something that, our officials at the national level are doing on a daily basis, and this is not a surprise for us here in Fulton County. This is meant to make people afraid to go to the polls because midterm elections are going to be so crucial to course correcting what is going on in our country. So instead of taking care of people who are dying in the streets in Minnesota, they're here in Fulton County trying to get ballots from 2020 that have been in storage for now 6 years from when it was found that there was no problems with the 2020 election, that Fulton County runs excellent elections. And that is the fear, that Fulton County will again run an excellent election in 2026. It just won't turn out the way that they want it to. So this is a matter of what we've seen, the old tactics just coming back up again, resurfacing as something new, which it is not, and very predictable. The best thing you can do as a voter, I can do as a voter, what we all can do as a voter is protect your own vote. Don't get scared by these things. There's an election in May for a primary, and there's an election in November, and we should all turn out, no matter what party you are voting for, to protect the right to vote in America. This is not just about Fulton County. Fulton County is right now the target, the only county right now fighting over an election that already happened, but it is coming to a place near you. This is the beginning of the chaos of 2026 that is about to ensue. So if we are starting this early in January, you can only imagine what is going to happen in October. So we need to be vigilant. We need to protect our rights to vote, no matter who you want to vote for. We need to do that, and that's what we're here to do today. So Commissioner Arrington is here. Did you want to?
Yes, absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Marvin Arrington Jr. This is absolutely crazy. A judge has sealed these records. Judge McBurney has these records under seal. They have filed a lawsuit seeking the exact same records and were denied access in that lawsuit. And because they were denied access in the civil lawsuit, they are now serving a criminal search warrant.
And who's the defendant?
And the criminal search warrant is under seal.
Right.
So we don't even know who the target of the investigation is. This is nothing but sowing the seeds of distrust, right? This is a full frontal attack on democracy. This is a code red in America, in Fulton County. We've seen it in Minneapolis, and now we're seeing it here in Fulton County. We must do everything that we can to protect the right to vote. These records are under seal. Judge McBurney has not issued an order opening these records or allowing these records to be viewed by the government, and until and unless he enters such an order, these records should not be seen or viewed by anyone. And so we're thankful to have our partners here from the state standing with us, because this again is a full frontal attack on democracy. And
you know what? I mean, let me just say that we are going to, if there's a question of are we going to take all legal action to make sure that, this, what I consider to be an assault on voters. This is an assault on your vote. So I think that, Marvin is an attorney, I'm an attorney. We are all trying to figure out what to do about this. But what we know is that that does not even matter. We know in America right now, it does not even matter if what you are saying is the right thing. If our president wants to bring in the forces, he will, and he has. And so it's in Fulton County now. So we have to protect. You need to go to your voter page, make sure that you are still registered to vote. You need to check every week. You need to be unafraid of these scare tactics, and you need to go out there and vote. Because what they're mostly afraid of is that you will vote them out. That is what they are afraid of. because midterm elections are going to be a course correction in this country, and they know it, and that's what they're afraid of. So we will not be deterred. We will work together in Fulton County. We will work together with our state partners, and we will move forward, and we will be here protecting your right to vote in Fulton County. Fulton County is a majority Democratic county. So don't be confused as to why this is happening in Fulton County. It's very easy. Follow it. This is not difficult. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, this is something that's so above my heads. It's not above your heads. You need to understand it as the people. You have the power to change this. And you know that this election in 2026 is going to be in your hands. So let's protect it.
Why do you think this is happening right now?
I mean, because it's never too early to start.
It's retribution. He is enacting retribution. He's enacting retribution on Fulton County,
That's
on
right.
Minnesota, on places that did not vote for him.
Why isn't he asking for the 2024 ballots?
Commissioner, explain again.
How about the 2024 ballots? Do they want those, or there were no issues in 2024?
They couldn't get the ballots, so now this is a criminal offense, but there's no named defendant.
That's right.
Yeah, so there is a civil lawsuit going on where they were seeking the exact same records. They sent a subpoena. It was denied because of the existing court order that put those records under seal, put these voting records under seal, and they couldn't get it then. They sent a subpoena. They've done it like 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And so since they could not get it the proper way legally through civil action, now miraculously there is a
Criminal action.
A criminal action with an unnamed defendant. Who's the unnamed defendant? What is this about? Well, if it was criminal, why didn't they file the criminal search warrant prior to getting denied 2 times in the civil court?
Does a criminal search warrant, when it is served, supposed to be unsealed?
I do not know. I think a judge needs to answer that question. And I have asked the county attorney, and Commissioner Ivory has asked the county attorney to file whatever we can file in order to stop this madness.
Are you hearing about other raids happening in other counties?
No, I heard they're going to try to, the FBI is supposed to be doing a press conference here at 6 o'clock.
Scoot over so we can bring Shay and Eric.
Yes, yes.
Clerk Alexander?
Yes, I think it's very important to bring our clerk of Superior Court, Madam Shay Alexander, who's been dealing with this all day because the records are under her chain of custody.
Madam Clerk, can you talk about what it was like to see these agents?
Not at this time. I can't.
Can you tell us?
I'm still processing it. I came out to go to the store to get some water and saw my colleagues and wanted to say hi. I'm just trying to get my staff some water right now. That's all I can do.
What's going through your mind right now, Clerk?
I don't know what's going on.
So I'll say this: the first warrant was to the elections hub, which was incorrect, and so that had to be sent back, and they had to get a new warrant directed to the Clerk of Superior Court, Madam Shay, because she is the holder of the archives from the elections. And so apparently they have now done that. They're now going in there. My question is, I want to make sure that there is a full and complete inventory, because these are the original voting records, original absentee ballots, right? And so once that stuff leaves our custody, where is the chain of custody? Once it leaves our control, how can we know if we're going to get everything back? How can we know if they might do something
We
Oh, we won't.
mischievous?
We won't, and we don't know.
They're taking
They might
pallets.
lose them.
We're not doing any inventory.
Yeah,
we don't even know what they're taking.
The ballots are on pallets because because Fulton County runs great elections, and elections from 2020 would already be archived, sealed, put in boxes, put on pallets, and secured. They wouldn't just be boxes floating around, allowed to be accessed. So they already are on pallets, and they're removing the whole pallets. So how can we then inventory what they're taking? You can only see what is happening on the outside of the pallet. You would not be able to see on the inside what the boxes are on the pallets. This is intentional.
Going in and out of the building all afternoon. Have the ballots actually left the building?
Yeah, they're leaving the building right now.
What did the warrant say?
The warrant said all the 2020 ballots, absentee ballots.
Supposed to leave, not anything, all
No,
of them.
they said what they were coming here to get, and they're getting it.
How does this search warrant supersede the seal? That's the part I think we're not understanding.
Because it's criminal versus civil. The seal is a civil case. They came and brought a criminal case, so that is why it's not connected. And that's what the lawyers are working on right now. What do we do next? And we have there's a band of lawyers right here working on it all. It's intentional for people to be in office who have the skills to deal with these things. And all of us are trying to come together to figure out what to do next. There's a band of people working on because we're under assault. I mean, I think you know that.
Is this unprecedented?
Of course.
Absolutely.
He's unprecedented. Right?
How concerned are you this sort of an effort to interfere?
It is. How confident are we? It is. We just had a town hall last week on Thursday about elections. We knew this was going to happen. This is about sowing the seed of fear that people will not show up to the polls in May and November. This is what it is. We're 100% sure this is what it is.
Do any of our state reps want to say anything? Certainly, we're glad to have you all speak
I'd
and
ask
say something.
Representative Draper as our resident voting rights expert to talk about where we are.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Syra Draper. I'm the State House Representative for House District 90. Ever since 2020, there is a man who cannot get over the fact that he lost here in Georgia. He simply cannot get over it. And now, in a vindictive nature, he is coming after us. Now, since 2020, there have been many attempts to get at the documents in Fulton County and to undermine the confidence in what Fulton County has done. But there have been audits after audits. There have been court cases filed here in Fulton County to find out what has gone on. There has been an independent investigation through the SEB that absolved Fulton County of any kind of misconduct or systemic voter fraud, right? That simply has not happened here. I would tell you if this administration had a genuine interest in getting to voter fraud, they should be investigating Coffee County, where we have actual evidence of people going into the election office after hours and copying election documents. But there's not an interest in going to Coffee County, which is a red county. Fulton County is being targeted because it is the largest county in Georgia and it is the home of Atlanta.
That's right.
So this does not pass the smell test, obviously. They have failed at every juncture to be able to get these documents. And so they have now found this loophole to try and get to it. But I will tell you that we are not done. We are going to continue to stand up for the rights of voters. And I agree with everything Commissioner Ivory said, that the best thing that you can do as a Georgia citizen is get to the polls and cast your ballot, because they wouldn't be trying so hard to stop you from voting if they weren't worried about what the impact would be. Thank you. Anybody else like to?
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Can we clarify once again just when and why the ballots were placed under seal? Just for clarification.
I think that's the normal process. Yeah. That is the normal process. Commissioner Barrett has joined us. Certainly, if you want to say something, Commissioner Barrett, the normal process is for those records to be under seal.
Yeah. They aren't just for people to be able to come and review, right? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm also just coming out after talking to all of our experts. I mean, obviously, we're doing everything that we must legally, but I agree with my colleagues. We are all absolutely going to stand up and make sure that Fulton County voters get to cast their vote in the 2026 election and the 2028 election. There is no excuse for the State Elections Board to take over our elections. As I said earlier today, this is political theater. It is a distraction from the actions that are of ICE in Minnesota, killing people, the threats of Pam Bondi to not leave Minnesota if they don't turn over their voter rolls. I mean, this is the kind of things that are happening. So, this is just unacceptable, and we are following the law, but we will defend Fulton County votes at all costs.
Has anything been filed that will keep the papers here? A stay, filed to the judge, so we can try to get a stay, anything where these documents cannot leave here? Because we do know how important it is.
Yeah.
Not yet. We've asked the attorney to take the appropriate action, and she is investigating to see what can be filed and under what circumstances it can be filed. But certainly we don't want to get in the way of a criminal investigation, but it's a criminal investigation to nowhere.
Yeah, and I will only add that I know our county attorneys are talking to some of the top criminal attorneys that are in town and know how to handle these cases. So we're getting advice from the best.
Yep.
One more thing.
I do think this is a pretext for trying to take over Fulton County elections. The Georgia legislature with SB 202 passed a provision that the state could overtake specific counties if certain circumstances were met. They attempted to do that with Fulton County, but the independent report recommended that the state not take over Fulton County elections. So they tried to do this, they failed, and now they're going for another bite at the apple. So that is a very real risk when the Republican-run Georgia state government tries to overtake what's happening in Fulton County and what's happening with Fulton voters who have elected their representatives to run their elections.
Yeah, there are multiple things going on in Fulton. There are multiple things going on in Fulton County right now. We are battling. So this is just one of many. I think you'll see the attack on Fulton get even deeper as we get closer and closer and as the elections begin to play themselves out. So I think this is to be continued, certainly not just what's happening today.
I think it's also worth noting that the 2024 election, nobody's questioning that.
Yeah, right.
The 2024 election in Fulton County went perfectly. You know who won? You wonder why? That's why. So we know our elections are run smoothly here. No matter what they take out of here, we already know what they're going to say about what they take. It's not going to be the truth. It's going to be that Fulton County did something wrong. Heaven forbid they put more of our election workers at risk with this new investigation.
And frankly, the 2020 election is a moot point. The 2020 election is moot. The election is over. The man has already been elected again. So why were we looking at anything with 2020? Why does it matter?
To militarize our elections and to scare people to going to the polls. That's why. That is the only reason. This is not meant to be able to put him, give him something that he can get back. That election is way over. This is to make you fearful of moving forward. And we know that he does that really well, but we're not going to fall for it. And so we're going to move forward doing what Fulton County always does, runs fair and free and accurate elections. And that's what we do.
Thank you all.
Thank you.